Okay, so I get asked this question a lot, and figured I'd make a video about it. Basically, the question is, how do I make a VLOOKUP return multiple values? And the answer to that question is it can't, right? A VLOOKUP can only return one value, the first matching value that it finds. But luckily, Excel has VBA, and we can come up with a function to work around that constraint. The function is fairly straightforward, and it's a good introductory function to writing VBA. So I came up with a data set that I thought would be useful to illustrate this functionality. It's the first thing I could think of, so bear with me. Basically, we have in column A a list of names, and in B a list of degrees that these people have achieved. So, for instance, John Doe has gotten a high school diploma, Bachelor of Science in Economics, and Masters of Science in Data Science. Okay, great. As you can see, if I wanted to VLOOKUP John Doe, I'm only going to get the first one that shows up, his high school diploma. Even if I do John Doe 3 more times, it's always going to be a high school diploma. What I want to return is something along the lines of high school diploma, and then delimit it somehow, like a comma or a pipe or whatever. High school diploma, then BS in economics, and then MS in data science. But VLOOKUP doesn't do that. Okay, so great. So we have to write a function. Cool. It's an opportunity to learn. So let's set up our lookup table. Jane Smith is in here also. Bob Lincoln. These aren't real people. I just made them up. And Alan Terry. I mean, maybe they are real people somewhere, but I don't know who they are. So the first thing I want you to do is press Alt F11. And what that is going to do is bring up this kind of VBA code editor. And over here on the left, we'll find which book you're working in. I haven't saved this yet. It's just called Book 1. So we can highlight that and create new module. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new function. So public function, and we have to name it. Let's call this vlookupExtra. And this is going to return a string. Let's create some space. So, okay, we created a function. It doesn't do anything yet, but if we go back here and we do equals, we can see that it shows up in our help, in our tooltip help thing, pop-up. There's no parameters and it doesn't do anything. It'll return 0. But that's what we're going to do right now. So let's go back here. So for this function, we need to create 4 parameters. The first one I'll call matchingName, and this is a string. Next one is going to be a range of data, so all of the names that we have, and that's going to be a range. Then we want to return a particular column of information, so we'll call it returnColumn, and that is going to be it's called a long, but it's basically just a number, a numeric value. And then this one I'll call delimiter, and it's a string. It's basically the character that we want to separate each returning value. So for this, we need to define a couple of variables, and we do that with this dim keyword. So dim, the first one I'll define is, I'll call it temp. That's just the name of the variable. This temp variable is going to hold temporary values of the string that we're going to return. So this is a string. And then I need one other one, and we'll call this name as a range. And basically I'm just creating this one such that it will provide an instance for our for each loop. And I'll get into that right now. So the way that we're going to do this, we basically loop through every name, And if it matches the matching name, it returns, it includes the return column value into the temp variable. So let's create the loop for each name, which is this name, in all the names, and let's close that with the next keyword. And then we have to basically create a few if-then statements to figure out if the name matches. So if matching name equals name.Value, then we're going to do temp equals name.Offset 0 returnColumn.Value and if. So what that is going to do is, if the matching name that we use in the parameter field matches one of the names in the range of names from the second parameter, then it's going to include the value in the column next to it into the temp field. And then we can spit out the temp field. So the way that we get this function to return something is we use the function name VLOOKUPExtra equals, and then we'll return whatever's in the temp field. So let's see what this does. So equals VLOOKUPExtra. The first parameter was the matching name. The second parameter was all the names, right? The third parameter was the column that we wanted to return. So we just want to go over one column, so we'll just add a 1. And the last was a delimiter. So we'll open a quotes and we'll make it a comma. So what does this do? So it doesn't quite do what we want yet, right? It only returned MS of data science. So why did it do that? Well, because we basically only told it to take the last value that it matches. So it overwrote the matching value 3 times, or twice rather. So what we have to do is add the temp here and delimiter and the matching value. So let's see what this does now. Equals VLOOKUPExtra John Doe, the matching name field, 1 and comma. Okay, so we're closer now, right? High school diploma, BS in economics, MS data science. But we have this extra stupid little comma right next to it. So that's annoying. So let's fix that. And what we can do here is we can say, we can put an if within an if. If temp equals nothing or blank, then we'll just make temp equal to the matching value, or the first return value. Else, if it doesn't equal blank, if temp already has a value in it, then we'll make it equal itself, the delimiter, and then the next matching value. So let's end that if. And we can rerun it by just clicking inside the formula and pressing enter. And okay, it got rid of it. Great. Okay, well, this is still better, but maybe I want a space in between each comma. So let's just go over here. So this delimiter will be the comma. So let's concatenate space, and then the return values over here. So let's try this again. And here, enter. Great, now we have a space after each comma. We can drag this down and see how it worked. So John Doe has a high school diploma, BS in economics, and a master's of data science. That's correct. Jane Smith has a BA in graphic design, MFA and high school diploma. Okay, great. Bob Lincoln, high school diploma.